All right, let's call the zoning board of appeals meeting this Wednesday, January 8th, 2025 to order. Call the roll, please.
Baranski,
Here.
Steady,
Spivey.
Spivey,
Oh, here.
Here.
Monahan,
Present.
Sunny,
Here.
Einsweiler, here, Rosenthal.
Yes, I'm here. Okay, we have a quorum. Now, first order, public hearing, not to exceed 15 minutes of the agenda item and no more than 3 minutes per person. Anyone want to address the board? Don't rush to the front. Okay, I see we have none. Next item, 25Z-2005, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of December 11th, 2024. I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
We have a second.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, been carried. New business. Item 25V-01, owner applicant Linda Pitts, request for a variance to reduce the front setback at 501 Park Avenue for the front setback facing Monroe Street. Linda?
Yes.
Would you like to come up front? And then just state your name and address for the record and explain to us what you're looking to do.
My name is Linda Pitts.
We can hear it, Jonathan, when you're monkeying with it, but.
All right, go for it.
I can speak loud.
Yes.
I'm Linda Pitts. My home address is 724 38th Street in West Des Moines. However, I own my mother's house, the house I grew up in over on Park Avenue, 501 Park Avenue. And that's the area that I'm asking for the setback for, to put an addition with, that includes two double stall garage, which puts me very close to the property. It's, Monroe doesn't have any sidewalks way down the hill. And, the drain is not buried, but, there's quite a bit of area there from where I know the property line to be. At one time, there was the remnants of a wall that went down. Unfortunately, when I had some dirt brought in to level out the backyard, they put it in the wrong spot, so it went over into the other area. But I would like to go ahead and do this, just to make the house more usable for me. I need a two-stall garage and some storage and to be able to park my car when I'm here,
Okay.
those kinds of things.
Does anyone have any questions for Linda? I got what, there was a garage, or Jonathan, at one time, there was a
That's one car detached.
one-car garage there, if I can remember that. Yeah.
There's a picture of that. There it is.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
drive
there's
goes right
the-
down.
There's.
Yeah, right there to the drive, right on the driveway.
And
About how much closer to the street will the new garage be than the old garage that I'm looking at here in the picture?
I can just answer for you if you want.
Okay.
It'll be about the same.
Okay.
The difference is the detached garage is allowed to be 5 feet
Right,
for a
right,
property line, where
right.
the attached is part of the principal structure and is not.
And Monroe Street continues across Park Avenue, right? That is platted as a street on the east side. It seems like it is.
I'm sorry.
The Monroe goes across. I noticed that the house on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it has
it's
one.
much closer
Yeah.
to the Monroe. So
Is it-
that's already been established as a side yard.
Yeah.
There, so, yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Thanks. Anything else you wanted to add, Linda?
No, I'm just anxious to do something with the house.
Okay, well, thank you. Okay, I guess I'll entertain a motion on it, and then we can have discussion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the variance as we be passing a positive finding.
What's the public hearing first, Jim?
Oh,
Oh, there's a public hearing on that?
Yep, that was the public hearing.
My bad, I didn't see that. Usually you mark that. So I guess,
does she have to come back up?
No, she doesn't have to come back up to close the public hearing.
Oh, did we even?
well, I didn't open the public hearing, so. Well, it wasn't marked as a public hearing, so I didn't know. So we'll go ahead. I'll just, somebody make a motion to open the public hearing.
Sure. Can we enter all what she said?
Yeah, do we just introduce what she
I'll,
said?
I'll make a motion to open a public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor, to open the public hearing, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, standing carried.
Now you need to close it.
Well, we can take notice of what Linda just testified to. And does anybody else have anything to say at the public hearing, either in favor of or against the request?
Anyone else to speak in the public hearing? No one else. So I'll let the record show that Linda's earlier testimony would be part of the public hearing. Okay,
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
got a second?
Second motion.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, standing.
So I'll make a motion to approve the request as asked for.
Second,
Second.
the second. You want to read?
Yeah, so, this is one of those situations where and this is the approval criteria. So, this is, hardship is unique to the property and it's not self-inflicted for sure. This does not confer on the applicant any special privilege. It's number two. Number three, the literal interpretation of the provisions of the regulations would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same district. One's right across the street, across Park Avenue. The applicant and the owner cannot derive a reasonable use without this variance. I believe it is the minimum necessary, which is number 5. I think it's compatible with adjacent properties, number 6. Yeah, and number 7, it's in conformance with the purposes of this code. And number 8, it's in conformance with the comprehensive plan.
Yeah, I start discussion.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I actually drove over there to see. The only thing I was concerned about was if you'd be able to turn and see, since it was gonna be so close, and that's definitely not an issue. It's so far back. And quite frankly, aesthetically, it's gonna look much better. Especially with, there'll have to be some retaining walls or something put in there for the drainages, as you mentioned. So, yeah, it makes complete sense. Jim.
Anybody else? If not, call the roll, please.
Kate,
Yes.
Monahan,
Yes.
Honey,
Yes.
Einspeiler,
Yes.
Baranski,
Yes.
Spivey,
Yes.
Rosenthal.
Yes,
Did you say?
good to go.
Did you say?
Yes. Okay, next order of business is 25 CPR-01. Owner and applicant, City of Galena, request a concept plan review to discuss the decision of the city council to return the appeal for a request to allow a digital message board signed by the Galena Unit School District to the zoning board of appeals for consideration of a tax amendment. I was at that meeting that night, when the council sent it back. There was nobody at the council table that was against this. Their concern is the way the ordinance is written, for them to overrule it without something being done. And their suggestion was that we amend the ordinance to allow it. That's what I got out of the meeting. Joe, did you get something different than I did?
No, no.
You were just looking at me.
No.
So I think that, I know there was some talk about a variance on this, but I don't think that's the right way to handle it. I think we have a nice little section in the ordinance, in the signage ordinance, under 154.810, signs requiring a special use permit. And I think, and there's an A, which is off-premise signs, and there's a bunch of stuff about that, and then B, official signs of the city. I think we can have a C, because I think what we want to do is be so specific about this that there really is no other chance that one of these can go up somewhere else other than for something as critical, I think, as a school. I think because the school, you know, and I know this was discussed, during that meeting that, you know, there could be stuff that's put on that sign that is, to me, so important to the public at a moment's notice that I think it should be allowed. But the question is how to get it there. And I think the best way to do it, so we don't have a bunch of these all over the place, because I think if we do a variance, perhaps then later on, someone else can ask for a variance. But I think if we do it as a special use and are really specific about what we're asking for and say, you know, it could be as specific as digital message boards, signs for the Galena School District, you know, and then there would be criteria in that special use section that would be below that would pick up what it needs to follow. And I think you're.
This is what I wrote.
Yeah.
Hand that to Joe and John can look at it, but I tried to make it as clear, we know what we're doing, you know, but this would stop anybody else from coming forward like you did, and you could put it anywhere, I guess. And
The only thing I would say about that, John, is I think it would probably be good to get the permit, just so that it says in there that the permit wouldn't be required.
but that doesn't have to be, that could be
Yeah.
changed to said,
I would say they
Permit's required.
want to get a permit so we have a chance to look at it, so it,
and put criteria on it.
yeah, for conformance with every, you know.
And that part you could take out and put it like where you were talking
Yeah.
in there, that makes sense, Joe, or not?
No, I think it's sort of a combination of two. I think, which is what I think you're getting at, is that I think it appears that under the 154-810, that signs requiring a special use permit, that you grant it off-premise sign within the historic district, which I believe this is.
Yeah.
Not to exceed 12 feet, and then within that, put the criteria, which is kind of what you're saying, John, that this is the sign that, the size of the sign that can be illuminated. It can operate, you know, as you say, limited the hours. It's from, I don't know, whatever, 7 a.m. until 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. at
Yeah,
night,
something like that.
something like that. And I think you can probably pigeonhole it between the two with whatever criteria you want to put on.
So Jim, I need to go back.
154, so 154-810,
Yeah, that's what Jim's on.
Yeah,
signs requiring a special use permit.
did you say Charlie? They'll put it in Charlie or just a whole?
You'd have to
other-
add. a
I was
second.
gonna-
There's A and a B.
Well, there's an A and a B already,
Yeah.
so I thought we'd put a C.
Got it. Okay, now I'm following.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, it doesn't fit under.
Yeah, no, I think you could do a C. Now, John's got an interesting thing here because I was like really specific, but he says, erected by a taxing body. And maybe, you know, I could see it conceivable. Let's put it this way. Let's say the city of Galena decided to build a building out on the highway somewhere. And again, you know, like the school, a message that the city of Galena needs to be able to convey to the public that doesn't have a computer or a
You
phone.
mean like the courthouse at the old primary school?
Say the courthouse, or say that the county bought the primary.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Or let's say the city decided we're gonna build a new firehouse. Like the one time that wouldn't be where they talked about up where the old dairy green was,
Yeah,
but somewhere on the edge of town that's outside the historic district. Where they'd be able to use these digital signage boards, you know, to notify people what's going on.
I mean, and
as
there's
long as it's the taxing.
And then have to be a taxing body.
this cannot be a private entity. I mean, you cannot grant this to a business. I mean, that would I'd start going down the wrong path.
And that's what started the problem to begin with, several
Yeah.
years back, where they were putting TVs in the windows.
Yeah, no, I remember all that.
Advertising
What about-
sporting events.
Like the hospital.
Well, that's,
That's not a taxing body.
yeah, it's not a
not,
taxing
but-
body. Yeah,
To
What I-
me, that would be, and that's where I get
no, it's a good,
a little stumbled up because you know if they want to do the flu shot, or that makes sense.
yeah.
But
Well, what I was thinking about the type of message that would be critical, right? So if it were, what I was thinking more about is something where there was something that happened in the middle of the night and the school needed to put a message up. So when people were coming by, they would know, you know, I have, whatever it could be. I mean, it could be.
Say there was a tornado and
Yeah,
they could put up with this, gym was open for people to go down. Is that supposed to, when they build, it's supposed to be, it could be like a shelter too? where people can shelter at the high school.
Yeah.
Because of a tornado.
It's the kind of message where timing is of the essence. You know, it's not just a general message perhaps about, you know, like if it's the hospital, it would be more about, you know, like you said, a flu shot or something like that. But that's the kind of message that's not like time sensitive. I mean, it could be over a matter of weeks, but I'm talking about something that would be
Well,
like an emergency.
active shooter situation. or something.
Well, that's what I hate to say that, you know, but that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about, you know, where there's an active shooter thing going on and someone's driving by and the sign says, because there's someone inside the building who can type that onto a sign and it gets to it right away. You know, I'm not saying that we want every taxing body to have the ability to have
But it limits it as far as they can't be in historic district. And
I think that's correct. Yeah, I think that's correct.
I think you raise a very good point. I speak in favor generally of the concept for the school digital sign. But West Galena Township Building is a taxing body, the health department's a taxing body out on Highway 20. Not necessarily a bad thing because none of those are in the historic district. You might put those words in your proposal, which I haven't seen, but, and in an extreme emergency, you might want those signs to all in a very timely fashion,
No, you're right.
coming into Galena,
There's an active shooter, you know,
or, yeah,
yeah,
I mean, use your imagination.
yeah.
You wouldn't necessarily have to, but they're available in the future, should public safety want to have a sign out at the health department, or on Gear Street, or, you know, not in the historic district, which I would like to add.
Yeah, he's got that in there. Yeah.
Because that is the sensitive part about Galena,
Yeah.
the historic district.
you go ahead and read it. I just gave it to Joe to get.
Why don't you just read it aloud?
Oh,
Give me your thoughts.
So what he's got, digital message board sign, he's got a permit will not be required for a freestanding digital message board sign. If such sign is permanently erected by a taxing body and such sign is located outside of the historic district and its intended use is to inform the general public of events or emergency situations in the community. The city may limit the hours of operations of such signs based on the location of such sign. And the only thing I would say, I mean, I think generally this is right. I think it probably should still have a permit, just so that it comes
That
through.
first part can be taken out.
Yeah.
No permit.
But it definitely would be, I think, it would be, well, I guess it would not necessarily have to be, if it's written like this, does it have to be?
Yeah, that's, I think you
In a
want
special use area.
I think you want to be careful in the sense that I think you should require them to use special use.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Because otherwise what you're gonna get is every taxing body's gonna say, we want a sign.
Yeah, right.
And I don't think whether they're in the historic, I don't think that we want a bunch of digital signs as the entryway into Galena.
We don't want to grant them.
Whether they're
Not very
taxing or not. So I think that if we craft it that it's, if you're a taxing body and you can get a special use to get these illuminated signs.
Right.
And these are our conditions to do it, and, you know, whatever the emergency situation,
Yeah.
situations like that, or public information, that wording can come up with it, but I think if you just give it to them, or they're all, the library's gonna put one up. Well,
Yeah,
that would be,
Yeah,
but,
here it is.
you know,
Yes, yeah, that's.
so I just think that, I think you guys wanna control them.
But I just changed it.
Is
That
what
will
it
be
comes down to, that they've gotta get a
be
special
required.
use. So they don't just pop up. I don't know how many taxing bodies are outside of the historic district. And I don't know if, is the health department, I don't know, as I said here, is the health department in the city limits? Or is it, it is?
Oh, yeah.
I believe so.
Oh, yeah.
But isn't the whole east side?
No.
That whole section of
No,
Highway
no,
20
no,
there is
no.
kind of all over the place. Some are, some aren't.
Because they did change it up on Gear Street, because at one time I was in the historic district, now I'm no longer.
And I don't know if the West Galena, is that outside the historic district as we're sitting here?
Yeah,
Up on-
yes.
Up on Gear
Yes.
I
Street,
think it
I
is.
think it
now.
probably is, but
you know, and I guess as I said, I don't think we want a neon sign up there.
no, I would prefer, I would be best, it would be best. if
Or at least
they
they
had
can
some-
come back for the special use and we'll have a discussion.
Right.
I mean, the school, isn't the school, well, Historic district reaches all the way up there?
No.
Well, and the other thing is, I don't think you want the school just to be able to put them anywhere.
Okay.
No, you don't.
I mean, you don't want one of, we might not want one where the old primary school was.
Right.
Or up there by the entrance on Highway 20 or along 20, you know. It's one thing if they come in and they ask for it and we give it to them, but otherwise, because you look, the school owns the high school, the middle school, and the primary building.
Yeah.
It's a big piece of property.
Yeah, we're not saying we want 3 of them there.
Yeah, right.
Or 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't know who else is taxing out in that area. I'm kind of running it through my head. You got West Galena.
I think you're on the right track with the special use.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
Yeah, I just think it gives us, again, as always, special use gives us the most control. It just always has. And in a town as unique as Galena, it's the best way for us to do stuff like this. Because we get to put conditions on it. And I think John's, like, this language here with maybe some additional stuff below it that relates to, size or, it says, it goes, refers back to parts of the ordinance that talk about size.
I mean, Jonathan.
And Jonathan will craft that, yeah.
And we can put times up, but obviously in an emergency, they can go beyond the times.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's just the fact that Joe Nat got an A doesn't need to be up at midnight.
If I get,
It should be up at midnight because it would be the only answer. Yeah.
if I got one,
Should be put up now, but you know what I'm saying? You could put language in there that these are the hours for general usage.
So how do we do that?
So-
We make it a motion to draft something up and bring it back to us, or?
Yeah, we'll do something like that.
But I think it
But,
came back to reconsider. I think what you guys do is just direct Jonathan to work on a draft based on what John's presented, what we talked about here. And then we'll bring it back and I'll
Next
work with them and we'll
Yeah.
come up with
I mean,
something.
some of the things that I've thought about leading up to this meeting that I think need to be discussed as part of directing me to draft something here. Different things like advertising. We probably don't want them just to be advertising, whatever, but I think those are things that need to be said. You know, you need to lay all these things out, limiting them to one per site, what's gonna stop the school from putting one in front of the school, and another one on the highway, another one over by the
It's a
primary. You know
special
what I mean?
use permit.
I understand that, but if you just go ahead and, you have to have reason to deny that.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing, like if we are going to permit it for the school, and like we're using taxing body outside the historic district. What's really, other than maybe we don't want it, what is our reason for not allowing the health department to have it? You know what I mean? Like you can't, just because it's a special use permit, there has to be logic for it. And then other things, do you want it to be standalone message board signs? Are you okay with that? Or do you want them to be part of a freestanding sign?
I think it has-
Or
my intent was it's gotta be actually like they proposed.
yeah, like similar to the school did propose,
Right,
there's this
correct.
of their freestanding sign.
I don't want to see them wheel.
Yeah, you don't want just a free-
wheels
yeah.
and-
Right.
And
that's
obviously
where back
you
to
guys.
Jim's comment, though, we could reference back to certain things, like
Right.
the advertising, the illegal items, no freestanding, no bells, whistles, flyers, tours, all that other.
Yeah,
Nothing
see, that-
above
those are
the
things
entrance
that-
road, like you see
Yeah.
the bar. that
Yeah.
road.
I'm gonna need to put in my criteria, the time frames, which we already have for illuminated signs that they're supposed to be
Yeah.
business hours, or I think at 10 or 11,
I would say-
whatever sooner, something like that, so it could be similar to that. As far as what's on that message board, do we want it just to be words that change every now and again, or are you okay with movement? They can be like a TV almost. There's a lot of different things that I think need to be
TV
considered
would be-
outside of just size and location and, things of that nature.
Things that, this is an opinion, things that scroll, things that come on, come off, they could have the picture of PD or whatever, but if it's like a movie type thing, that's gonna be a safety issue, and that's
Yeah.
the wrong thing to implement.
I agree.
I mean, you can even have them where they, like, whatever's written on there kind of flashes off and the next one comes out of the other corner. The things like, are you okay with that? Or you want to just be like, whatever's there
Yeah.
goes away and the next message comes up? You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like,
That's what I've finished.
yeah, sure. But I think that needs to be.
That'd be simple.
Good luck.
That needs to be
very
yeah.
Good luck in writing that.
I don't know how to write. I don't know how to write these things, but these are the things that I think need to be considered in allowing a message.
I would bet someone else has done something like this.
Sure.
before. So there probably is a template somewhere that you could.
I'm
tap
sure there's
into.
piles of them. I mean,
Yeah, maybe just tap into some of that. language.
Oh, and I would think you could put something in that says that the message rotates at a minimum of every 10 minutes.
So many frames per.
So many frames per minute.
Yeah,
You know what I
right,
mean?
yeah, right,
So you don't get that scrolling.
yeah,
For
so,
a maximum of,
Yeah, because he said it's supposed to be school messages, basketball game tonight. So-and-so accomplished something,
Yeah.
not, the Galena Pirates are sponsored by so-and-so.
yeah, we want to avoid that, that's the whole, I mean, we don't
Yeah.
want people taking advantage,
No
the-
advertising.
Yeah, no advertising.
It's school stuff and just we can come up with something
Mhm.
and talk,
Yeah,
so many frames per minute.
Yeah.
That's
So we can't put knackers and a knack on there.
Yeah, we can put that one on.
Yeah.
Jonathan, I think in the original proposal that they made about that sign, I think they spelled out how they were gonna limit it and not have any,
Yeah,
any cartoon movement.
we talked about certain
Things like
things.
that.
It wasn't
And
specific.
I remember seeing it was spelled out really well.
I
And
got what they had. right
okay,
here.
yeah.
And I kind of thought the same thing, that it was all verbal, there was no like visual, like characters
right,
and
yeah.
things like that, so I think we
With
limited
text,
to that.
they limited the colors they were gonna use.
Yeah,
They did a nice job of
yeah, I think we,
toning it down.
I think we could look at some of the things they said.
I think you,
But-
I mean, Jonathan's gonna be able.
I think
to
we're
run
on the
that.
same page. I
That
think
we're on the
everybody
same
knows
page.
Yeah, so he'll get something written up and I think that'll work. We can all live that'll work for the city council.
So do we need to make a motion for him to?
I think,
I would think somebody should just make a motion to direct Jonathan to draft a proposal ordinance to bring back to the board for approval.
okay, I'll make a motion. Jonathan, please draft a proposal to bring back to the board at the February meeting.
Second,
all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, carried. Okay,
Thank you, Jonathan.
So they had like this brightness criteria in here. I don't know a lot of its names, but.
order of business is
I think
adjourned.
that's probably the kind of
Make
stuff
that
that we
motion.
can.
Put right in.
Taylor.
I make a motion.
Right in the instructions, put right in.
Got a motion to adjourn, do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, here. Thank you, happy New Year, and see you in February.
You'll have to like,
And I think if we put in that.
Jonathan, you might be able to look at